What's up, everybody? Coach Mills here, coming at you with a brand new Overwatch video. And in this video, I'm going to be breaking down a gold DPS hit scan versus a top 500 DPS hit scan. And we're going to break down the mistakes that the gold player is making. And then we're going to compare that to the plays that the top 500 player makes in their games. And this is a new series that we're attempting. So smash that like and subscribe if you enjoy this content so we can do more of these in the future. But this holiday season, GameLeap is dedicated to help you climb with 50% off our in-depth VOD reviews, advanced tips and tricks, and much more on the GameLeap website. So do yourself a favor, don't miss out on this amazing opportunity in the comments down below. But without further ado, let's jump into the video. Now, the first player that we're going to break down is our low SR player, and his name is going to be Piglet Wave in the top right screen, and he's a gold Soldier 76 player. Now, we're going to go through his plays on this map, Oasis, and we're going to break down some of the big mistakes that he makes that really prevents him from having enough impact to hard carry his trash teammates. So let's roll it right now. Now, right off the bat, you got to notice something that is really important. If you were a Soldier player, you would not be fighting here right on the front lines with your team, right up against the enemy Reaper and the enemy Rhine. Typically, a Soldier wants to go claim that top right high ground because you have a off angle advantage point and you can pressure out enemy DPS and potentially fish for a pick on enemy supports. Now, throughout this entire round, he's going to be playing right behind his Reinhardt almost the entire time, and that just shows a giant misunderstanding in the role of your character. And just that right off the bat is going to cap your total or potential impact, which you could bring to every single game. And in the immediate next second, he makes another micro mistake where he's going to drop heal station literally right on top of him when he's being healed. And on top of that, he hasn't even taken any damage yet. And then on top of that, he fights the enemy not even standing in his heal station. This is like a cascade of mistake after mistake after mistake. Now, another thing that you might notice just watching it back, and this is going to be easy for pretty much anyone to realize when they watch back this footage, is the complete lack of target priority. There's no focus fire onto the supports, no focus fire on a DPS forcing out their cooldowns. There's pretty much no focus fire at all. There's a little bit of damage here, there, spamming at the Rhine shield. This is basically what we call trash damage, or damage that just gets healed up or results in nothing, no definitive damage, and nothing that is going to lead to a one team fight. Now, because he never took that top right high ground position, he never got any picks, and he doesn't force out those supports, allowing them to push up, and eventually his team gets overwhelmed and he runs away. And look at what he accomplished this fight. Pretty much nearly zero. I mean, sure, he doesn't die this fight, but other than that, he did next to nothing and generated almost no ultimate charge in the process. Now, I'm not trying to roast Piglet here, but this is going to be important for later on when we compare his gameplay to a Grandmaster Soldier player. Look at this general lack of awareness. Piglet sees a Doomfist in front of him and avoids him. However, he's going to get uppercutted and pocketed by the Mercy at the same time, so he should hypothetically live here. Then he's going to spray mindlessly in air. Finally, he's going to turn around, but it's going to be too late. The Doomfist is going to completely live even after the Doomfist made several mistakes, using all of his cooldowns right in front of the enemy team. His Mercy is going to die trying to get the res off, and that's just another fight that he staggered. Now, I'm going to be brutally honest here, and I know that maybe some of you are going to get mad at me in the comments down below. This is what I see every single time I VOD review a gold player. And I know what you're going to say. This is not me. I do not play like this. This guy's trash. I'm great. Well, if you truly believe that, drop your code in the comments down below, drop your SR, drop the character you play and your name, and there's a chance that I pick you for the next one of these videos, and you might get roasted, but if you can handle the heat, definitely drop it in the comments down below, and we're gonna put you through the litmus test and see if you are better than your rank suggests. Now, in this next play, Pig is going to get a nice 2k with his visor, but watch as he doesn't use correct spacing and tunnel visions enemies rather than noticing his teammate's position. He gets killed by a Rhine swing after trying to fight a Rhine 4 feet from him. Now, in higher ranks, yes, his team would have 100% pushed up with him, but this Soldier has not demonstrated any of the needed skills to earn that higher rank, and this is a big point that I need to have you carry with you going forward. You don't get good teammates teammates until you can carry to the rank where those players exist in. At higher ranks, his teammates would have pushed in, and maybe he could have played this aggressively and not got punished for it, but the fact that he didn't acknowledge his teammates weren't pushing in the first place and actually entered and fed this time means that he doesn't get those higher ranks. It's kind of like an ironic cycle, but it really is the way things are in the rank system. Now that being said, however, I want to break down the one time he actually didn't play with his front line and took an off angle, because this is the one and only time he does it in the entire game. Look at how he heavily pressures the Reaper, which his Ryan finishes off because he's low. Then he gets in position to cut off a late rotating Zed, getting a free kill. That's what I'm talking about, baby. These are the type of positions that Soldier can take and get away with because he has the means to get away. He has that sprint, that permanent form of mobility. You can take this off angle, you can fish with a helix or some damage, and if things don't go right, you can run away. But this is the one and only time that he does something like this, and it works. The one time. Look at that. Now that being said, however, all good things come to an end because he actually doesn't reposition to the top right high ground after this, and he lets the enemy basically push in for free. Look at how ineffective Pig is at fighting off this Reaper or doing damage to the enemy tanks on the front line, let alone finding picks on the support. Basically, to sum up this entire game in a nutshell, he spends most of his time shooting a Ryan shield that never breaks in time for him to make an actual difference or have any impact. They lose the next map in a similar fashion to this one, and they lose the game 2-0. Now that we got a reference point for a gold Soldier or gold Hitscan player, now we're going to directly compare it to a top 500 Hitscan player that you can compare and contrast the movement, the decision making, and everything that you want to eventually become if you are in any bit similar rank to that gold DPS player. And the top 500 player that we're going to be comparing him to is a player named Renzo, who is a consistent top 500 DPS player. I'm going to put his Twitch in the comments down below, and he's going to be playing on his secondary Grandmaster account named Zuko, so for reference, that's in the top left of the screen. Now right off the bat, this VOD is going to kick off with Renzo's main tank dying because they're not playing double shield up against the meta that is double shield, and so him and his team have to fall back. Now, they're going to fight on the front line just to pressure the enemy out, not allow them to take space too quickly, which is important. They're pressuring from safety, but if they just up and leave, then the enemy team can just take that space really easily. Now, Renzo and his Zarya is going to see an opportunity to make a play on the right side, and they're going to rush up right and run it up top right. They're going to catch two squishies out, and Renzo is going to take that high ground, a position that you'll see him play over and over that I harped on a lot in the past when I was talking about that gold Soldier. Now, here, he can easily pressure and kill the BAP, chase the Orisa, and kill her as well. You see, right off the bat, a Soldier should be looking for these opportunities to take this high ground or take targeted flanks, and that is exactly what Renzo did here to turn the fight into one where they didn't even have a main tank to one that they actually won. Now, check out this high ground position that he's going to be playing from. This is one that Renzo's going to operate from often because you can basically make a free play from here, spamming down below, and there's a lot of characters that cannot chase you to the high ground. If you're on the high ground, a Sigma can't chase you. An Orisa can't chase you. You know, there's so many characters that can't chase you when you're on the high ground, and if they do chase you, you can always drop to the low ground in an instant as a getaway method. That's why it's so important to have on Soldier. Now, his team's gonna lose the fight, and even after those two players die, he's gonna try to make a play on the flank, attempting to helix a Mercy, but notice how he misses and simply backs off. He stays alive for another potential future play, and he doesn't full commit trying to kill a Mercy when he missed that initial source of damage. Now, he's gonna do something interesting here, and he's gonna hide while his team respawns and sneaks up to the high ground. He still has a good amount of time before the enemy team cap and get that checkpoint, so he's gonna set up for a flank play with this Visor. And as his teammates engage, he's gonna pop on the high ground flank, activate Visor, and he's gonna basically insta-kill the enemy Mercy. Then he's gonna kill the Mei that's chasing him down, and he's gonna push up, flick helix the BAP, and kill him as well. That's a 3k secured and a secured fight for his team. Yes, he's gonna ultimately die, but getting all that value, killing both supports, means that he won that team fight starting from the beginning, where he valued his own life and he set up a play later on that eventually won the team fight. This is extremely important, and this all comes down to decision making, making a decision in the moment that's going to set you up for future plays, which is exactly what Renzo did here. Now, in this next play, Renzo's going to see that the enemy Zarya is controlling high ground, and he's going to instantly bolt up and go contest it, as you realize how powerful it is to have the high ground no matter what character you are. So as Soldier, he wants to go try to contest it. Notice how he pokes a little bit though, and he instantly runs away when he's under threat, only to return to the high ground right after, because the monkey zones him away. You gotta understand that enemies can't just sit up there forever. The enemy monkey can't just sit up there contesting him forever, and he's gonna keep wasting their time doing this, and eventually he's gonna take that high ground from them, which is what he does. Now, he's gonna see the enemy Zarya through the wall with the sonic arrow. He's gonna make it up top and beam the Zarya, and then instead of still challenging her, because he realizes that a Zarya that has high energy and a bubble he can't duel, he's gonna do that damage, that burst damage, and then instantly dip away as she tries to focus him. Not even gonna try to take a prolonged fight, just to make sure that he doesn't die, but still pressures out that Zarya. Now, the enemy team is gonna peel to that high ground, and he's gonna drop to the low ground, and this is a style that he does often. However, when he baits the enemy to his high ground, he sees a little path. He sees the golden path to the enemy high ground, and that's the moment when he runs up the stairs and takes that enemy high ground. Remember, this is a battle for position, and as long as he stays alive and values his own life, doesn't overcommit to any of these engagements, he can always find an opportunity later on, which is exactly what he does. He takes this high ground from the enemy, and then he gets to kill the enemy Zen for free, zones away the Ana, and then spaces himself from the Mei until he ultimately hunts her down as well. You can see what this strategic advantage, this back and forth, this never overcommitting, and this consistent valuing of your life can create for Soldier. All the plays that he's making, and this is up against GM plus players that he's playing against, and he's still finding these avenues to have impact and carry these team fights. Now, going back to the direct comparison, which honestly is not that fair comparing a gold to a top 500, but this is the first one of the series, so I wanted to make a giant distinction. Now, you can see the difference as clear as day. From movement, decision making, mechanics, I mean, this player is clearly many cuts above the other Soldier. And I know what you might say. Well, he has better teammates than my teammates. I'm a gold player, but he has better teammates. Well, first off, I'm going to acknowledge that this might be true from your own personal experience. You might have felt that, but we just watched a gold Soldier. Did that gold Soldier have teammates that played pretty poorly? Yes, he had very passive teammates and teammates that wouldn't push up or have any impact along with him. Now, do you still see the fundamental differences in these two Soldiers? Yes, 100% as clear as day. I'm gonna be brutally honest, because the point of this series is to really emphasize personal responsibility into your play. It's not your teammates' fault that you can't climb, because I'm being straight up with you. Renzo would absolutely 1v6 down in gold. There's no doubt in my mind. And if this guide has taught you anything, especially on a character like Soldier that doesn't really have a very high mechanical skill ceiling, decision making is one of the most important things that can carry you throughout games. But like I said, if you want to have your gameplay dissected and compared with a high level player, definitely put all that info in the comments down below, like I said earlier, for a chance to be selected. But go to the GameLeap website right now for our special holiday 50% off sale, where we have in-depth VOD reviews, advanced tips and tricks, and much, much more. Right now is the best possible time for you to grab your GameLeap 50% off subscription. But that's all I got for you today. Thank you so much for coming by. I'm Coach Mills, and of course, until next time.